Hari Om, everybody. Welcome back. It's 10 o'clock. We'll get started. Ganana Antva Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavin Kavinamupamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspatana Shunvannutibisi Dasadanam Prano Devi Saraswati Vajebhirvajini Bati Dhinam Vityavate Om Ganeshaya Namaha Om Saraswatyai Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Shuklam Baradaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Vadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Vagishadya Sumanasaha Sarvartanam Upakrame Yam Natva Kritakritya Syuhu Tam Namami Gajananam Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyaharambam Karishyami Siddhirbhavatu Me Sada Arambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Gnanamurtim Dvandvahatitam Gaganasadrisham Tattvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami Sadgurum Tam Namami Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharya Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krita Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Yasya Sannidhi Matrena Sarve Shishyascha Sevakaha Karmakshetre Pravartante Chinmayam Tam Namamyaham Chinmayam tam namamyaham. We have already completed the Guru Stotram. In this session, we will just record it for the sake of pronunciation, and then I will start to kind of teach that to everybody. Hope you will bear with me. So as a part of the Ramanam, we are currently doing the Nama Ramayana, and we have completed Balakanda, Ayodhya Kanda, Aranya Kanda last time, and today we will do Kishkinda Kanda. Akhil, are you with me? Are you able to join?
Hari Om, Venkatesh.
Very nice. Hanumat Sevita Nija Padaram.
Hanumat Sevita Nija Padaram.
Nata Sugriva Bhishtadaram.
Nata Sugriva Bhishtadaram.
Garvita Vali Samharakaram.
Garvita Vali Samharakaram.
Vanaraduta Preshakaram.
Vanaraduta Preshakaram.
Hitakara Lakshmana Samyutaram.
Hitakara Lakshmana Samyutaram.
Rama Rama Jaya Raja Ram.
Rama Rama Jaya Raja Ram.
Rama Rama Jaya Sita Ram.
Rama Rama Jaya Sita Ram.
Now, Sundarakanda. Huh? Hanumat Sevita Nija. I'm sorry. Kapivara Samstita Samsruta Ram. Kapivara Santata Samsruta Ram.
Kapivara Santata Samsmrita Ram.
Tadgati Vigna Dvamsakaram.
Tadgati Vighna Dvamsakaram.
Sita Prana Dharakaram.
Sita Prana Dharakaram.
Dushta Dashanana Dushitaram.
Dushta Dashanana Dushitaram.
Shishta Hanumad Bhushitaram.
Shishta Hanumad Bhushitaram.
Sita Vedita Kakavanaram.
Sita Vedita Kakavanaram.
Kruta Chudamani Darshanaram.
Krita Chudamani Darshanaram.
Kapivara Vachana Shvasitaram.
Kapivara Vachana Shvasitaram.
Rama Rama Jaya Raja Ram.
राम राम जय राजा राम
राम राम जय सीता राम
राम राम जय सीता राम
Very good. We will do the Yuddha Kanda next week and remaining two Uttarakanda also. But we will do one more today called Sri Rama Stotram. Akhil. Apadamapahartaram
आपदामपहर्तारम्
Dataram Sarvasampadam
दातारं सर्वसम्पदाम्
Apadamapahartaram
आपदामपहर्तारम्
Dataram Sarvasampadam
दातारं सर्वसम्पदाम्
Lokabhiramam Sriramam
लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामम्
Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyaham
भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्
Artanamartihantaram
आर्तानामार्तिहन्तारम्
Bhitanam Bhitinashanam
भीतानां भीतिनाशनम्
Dvishatam Kaladandam Tam
द्विषतां कालदण्डं तम्
Ramachandram Namamyaham
रामचन्द्रं नमाम्यहम्
Sannadha Kavachi Khadgi
सन्नद्धः कवची खड्गी
Chapabanadharo Yuva
चापवाणधरो युवा
Gachan Mamagrato Nityam
गच्छन्ममाग्रतो नित्यम्
Rama Patu Salakshmanaha
रामः पातु स लक्ष्मणः
Namah Kodandahastaya
नमः कोदण्डहस्ताय
Sandhikrutasharaya Cha
सन्धीकृतशराय च
Khanditakhiladaityaaya
खण्डिताखिलदैत्याय
Ramaya Pannivarine
रामायापन्निवारिणे
Ramaya Ramabhadraya
रामाय रामभद्राय
Ramachandraya Vedase
रामचन्द्राय वेधसे
Raghunathaya Nathaya
रघुनाथाय नाथाय
Sitaya Pataye Namaha
सीतायाः पतये नमः
Agratah Prushthataschaiva
अग्रतः पृष्ठतश्चैव
Parshvatascha Mahabalau
पार्श्वतश्च महाबलौ
Akarnapurnadhanmanau
आकर्णपूर्णधन्वानौ
Rakshetam Ramalakshmanau.
रक्षेतां रामलक्ष्मणौ
Yavar Ramachandra ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you, Akhil. Hari Om, everybody. Sorry about these little glitches. Somehow my mouse got disconnected here and I couldn't admit people. So there were many waiting. I apologize for that. So welcome back to our weekly Vedanta portion of the classes. Last week, we entered the text Drg Drshya Viveka. We will chant the first verse. Rupam Drishyam Lochanam Druk Tadrishyam Draktumanasam Drishyadhi Vrittaya Sakshi Druge Vanatu Drishyate. This text is also called as Vakya Sudha. Sudha means that nectar. This essence of the Mahavakya, Tattvam Asi, is given in this text. What does this Mahavakya reveal? It reveals our true identity. It reveals our essential nature. That we are essentially divine, having a human experience. So when we say Drg Drshya Viveka, the self-unfoldment happens here through Viveka. Viveka means separation, not a physical separation, but an intellectual separation. See, the physical separation between objects or between persons, the distinction or Viveka on grosser things are easier. It is clearer. But as the subject matter gets subtler and subtler, say, if the distinction is between legal and illegal, we have many courts to decide those type of issues. Moral versus immoral. Dharmic versus adharmic, meaning righteous versus unrighteous. Then the distinction becomes subtler. That's how our topic is. So you have to be really, really sharp in these classes. Sometimes we may not even know that there are two things that are mixed up. When we don't know there is fusion between two things, then there is confusion. I hope you got that pun. We also, last week, saw that not everybody in this world wants to inquire. especially on a weekend, and for some of you on the East Coast around lunchtime. Hard to compete with food for thought, with actual food. We saw last week two bookends of people. The Agnani on one end, who is blissfully ignorant, who does not want to know the truth. That's one end. On the other end, there is Gnani, the realized master. Then there are those of us in between in our own journey, from Bandha to Buddha. The ones who are striving to know the truth, who wants to know, they are the Jignasu. Because of their mumukshus, they want to get liberated. That's the premise. Rupam Drishyam Lochanam Drk Tadrishyam Draktumanasam Drishyadhi Vrittaya Sakshi Druge Vanatu Drishyate. So here, last week, we saw that there is no separate Mangala Charana Shloka in this text. The Mangala is indicated by the word Sakshi, the witness principle. We saw a beautiful reference from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Those who were with me a couple of years ago, we did the entire 9th chapter. And in the 18th verse, Bhagavan Shri Krishna gives that indicator, Gatir Bharta Prabhu Sakshi Nivasa Sharanam Surat Prabhava Pralaya Sanam Nidhanam Bijam Avyayam Sakshat Ikshate Iti Sakshi. That witness principle, that is the witness to all that is done and not done, action and inaction. That Chaitanya Swarupa. Another beautiful reference came to my mind as I was putting this together is from Vishnu Sahasranam. Jivo Vinayita Sakshi Mukundo Mita Vikramaha Ambho Nidiranantatma Mahodadishayontakah. That's another very good reference on the word Sakshi. Rupam Drishyam Lochanam. So in this first pair of seer, seen, we see that Rupam is color and also form, which is Drishyam, that is seen. Is seen by what? Lochanam, eyes. So the first pair is, in this pair of seer and seen, Viveka, eyes are the seer, is the seer, color and forms are Drshya, the seen. But are the eyes really the final seer? We went back one step. The simple answer is no. Because Tadrishyam Draktumanasam. In our Viveka, in our analysis, last week we took one step back, inward, and saw if the mind is not there behind the eyes. Eyes by themselves cannot see. We have seen that, and many of us have experienced this. We are sitting at a traffic light, the red light is on, eyes are open, but mind has gone somewhere. We are not even seeing unless somebody else in the back honks at us. The other sense organ becomes active, sends the signal to the brain, and the eyes begin to see that it is already green. Every one of us have been through that. So the mind, without the mind behind the eyes cannot see. So is the mind the ultimate seer? Drishyadhi vrittaya sakshi. There are numerous thoughts in my mind. I am aware of these thoughts in my mind. I am also aware when there are no thoughts in my mind. Think. So that sakshi, drugeva natu drishyate. That is the ultimate seer and never becomes the seen. So far, are you guys with me? So that word sakshi is simply translated as seer. The one who sees, denoted by the word druk. Rupam, drishyam, lochanam, druk. He is the seer. Here, the seer is the subject. Seen is the object. So the ultimate seer here is the I, the self, the Atma. The seen here, the Drishya, is not self, Anatma. Let me repeat. There is the seer, the Sakshi, the Atma, the witness principle. Then there is the seen, the Drishya, Anatma. It can also be defined as the seer is the subject, the seen is the object. The seer is the experiencer, the knower. The seen is the experienced, the known. I wanted you to be clear, so I repeated myself. Rupam drishyam lochanam druk tadrishyam draktumanasam drishyadhi vrittaya sakshi drugeva natu drishyate. So the seer here, in this pair of seer and seen, the seer is that self-shining consciousness. It does not need any other external illuminating source. It is Swata Siddha, self-evident. See, in analyzing the seer-seen relationship, last week I mentioned we have to keep some ground rules, few principles in mind. Number one was the seer and seen are different from each other. The seer can never become the seen, and the seen cannot become the seer. Number three, the seer cannot see itself. For example, the eyes cannot see itself, and the seen cannot see itself. So one and the same thing cannot become both seer and seen. And seer is aware and the seen is inert, jada. Keep these in mind. Last week, we looked at this colorful pot as an example. I see the pot. I see that the eyes and the pot are different. The eyes cannot become the pot, and the pot cannot become the eyes. Fairly clear on the ground rules. Like that, we apply these principles throughout the text. And when I took one step back in my analysis, eyes by themselves cannot know if they're sharp, if they have become dull over the years. But my mind knows the condition of my eyes. I gave that example last week. I cannot see a thing or read a thing without my gnana chakshu, without my glasses. A lot of people say, you know, I'm not seeing things very clearly nowadays. The mind knows how sharp the eyes are. So the mind and the eyes are different from each other. We know that. Easy to establish that. So the eyes cannot become the subject. So that is in my second pair of Drg Drshya Viveka. When I go back in my Viveka one step back inward to see that there are thoughts in my mind, numerous thoughts in my mind. Who is the illuminator of these thoughts? If one were to question, who is this ultimate seer? Drge vanatu drushyate. That Sakshi is the ultimate seer and never becomes the seen. That is what this shloka is kind of guiding us in that Viveka. That Sakshi is the final seer. Now, somebody were to ask, how do I know that is the ultimate seer? Do we need another consciousness to illuminate? Do we need another consciousness to know this consciousness? Let us say there is consciousness C1, and then there is consciousness C2. Is there C2 to know C1 and C3 to know C2? And like that, for that the Vedanta says, no. That is a logical fallacy. Call it as infinite regression. Vedanta calls it false logic, called Chakrika Patti Dosha. That consciousness, that is the ultimate seer Sakshi, is Swata Siddha. How? Just like we do not need a candle or an external source of light to see the sun outside, it is Swata Siddha. It is so bright. This Sakshi is similarly Swata Siddha. See, the implication of this shloka is staggering. This is the beauty of this kind of self-unfoldment. So far, I hope you guys are with me. So in the next 3 verses, he takes us the seer and the seen relationship to the next level. Verse number 2. Nilapita stula sukshma rasva dirghadi bedatah. Nilapita stula sukshma rasva dirghadi bedatah. Nana vidhani rupani. Nana vidhani rupani pashyel lochanamekadha. Neela, blue. Pita, yellow. Pitambara, when we say, for Bhagavan Krishna wearing yellow. Stula, gross things. Sukshma, subtle. Rasva, short. Dirgha, long. Adi, etc. Vedataha, there are differences. Nana vidhani rupani, many variations in these forms. Pashyel lochanam ekadha, very important. Pashyel lochanam ekada, we see many colors and forms, but we see all of them with one pair of eyes. So the rule here is Drshya is Aneka, Drashta is Eka. I have stated this when we studied the text Upadesha Sara. I gave this as the reference at that time. This very verse, Drshya Varitam Chittamatmanah Chitva Darshanam Tattva Darshanam. With the same pair of eyes, I see many things. I see the tip of the Himalayas, the peak of it. I also see the same, a small tip on a sewing needle to put that little thread through. We forget to thank this beautiful designer. Our Puja Guruji always says, we thank the person who gave us the wristwatch, but we don't thank the Lord enough who gave us the wrist to wear it. We appreciate the variety in this world. We appreciate different shapes, different sizes, the diversity. The same set of eyes that perceives, recognizes different things remains untainted, remains unaffected by the colors of the object. Imagine the complexity it would have created otherwise. To see the blue thing, you need a blue pair of eyes. To see different colors, you need different set of eyes. What a complex life it would have been. Yet, sees many, remains unaffected by the colors of the objects, the quality of the object. Drshya is aneka, drshta is eka. We will stop here. I want to take it a little slow, one step at a time in terms of this self-unfoldment. The topic is subtle. So in the next class, we will see how this logic is applied to the mind as we go back in that self-unfoldment process. Let's stop here. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat. May all be happy. May all be healthy. May all see auspiciousness. May none suffer. Peace, peace.